everybody. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. I'll be your host this afternoon. I am Matt Connarton, and it is July 29th, 2015. And thank you so much for being here with me. And we have a lot to get to, a lot of little things to cover today. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be one of those shows where I basically spend the bulk of the show talking about one specific thing, but gonna try to mention a bunch of little things and jump around a little bit. First of all, though, let me start by saying, so if you missed it, last week I had the honor and privilege of going on Norm and Friends. Norm Moody and his co-host Lori Powerzato had me on, and that was wonderful. Of course, for those who've been watching for a while know that I was Norm's co-host on Norm and Friends for 7 years. But Norm invited me on last week to hypnotize him to get his eating habits under control and get him motivated to exercise and whatnot, because it's been, what was it, 2 years ago now, I hypnotized Norm on the air to quit smoking. And yeah, I think it's been about 2 years, and he's been smoke-free since. But he did, he did kind of. Has it been 2 years or a year? I think it's been 2 years. It all blurs together. I got to be honest with you. So, but he did need a little help in terms of eating healthier, and he's been done permanently with the cigarettes, but some of that did go to his stomach. So I got to go on last week and hypnotize him again, this time to help him lose weight. And he let me know this morning. He sent me a Facebook message. He said it's been very successful. He's been eating healthy and walking and feeling good. And hopefully, perhaps he'll even call in and mention it. I'm sure he'll address it today on his show. So very glad that I was able to help him with that. So for those who don't know, I am a certified hypnotherapist. I know I yell a lot on this show, and I kind of get in all of your collective faces a bit, but I can also speak in a very soothing tone and bring you into a state of very deep relaxation and help you quit smoking or lose weight or whatever it may be. So that's my other endeavor. And I do that professionally. So if you'd like to make an appointment, feel free to get a hold of me. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. It was fun to go on the show. It had been a while, and I always mention it whenever this comes up. I do owe Norm quite a bit. Norm inviting me to be his co-host, which was now 8 years ago, really kind of opened up a lot of other opportunities. And I probably wouldn't be sitting here doing this show right now. I don't think I would even have the confidence to do this, to be honest with you, had Norm not seen something in me that I didn't know was there, and that I would be able to do something like this. So I was very grateful to Norm. He's a great friend, and I'm glad that I was able to further help him last week in terms of his health and whatnot. So that's a good feeling. So what else? What else have we got going on? Of course, Unleashed now. I know I mention it every week, but I want to make sure people remember. Now on 5 nights a week on the IPM Nation live station at 11 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone at IPMNation.com, the same website you see there at the bottom of your screen. And of course, we do the television edition here every Wednesday. If you don't get to see it live, you get to see it later. We do put them all up on Vimeo and on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. I did receive, I get emails, and I know that this will be hard for some of you to believe, but not everyone likes me. I think I'm a pretty likable guy, but not everyone likes me. And I do occasionally get hostile messages from people. Perhaps they disagree with something that I've said during the show, politically or whatnot, or perhaps they have some other issue with me. I did recently, very recently actually, receive a missive from someone who said that I'm very full of myself. Perhaps I am. Perhaps I come across that way on the show. Off air, I'm much more laid back, and I think I'm a pretty humble guy. But and you may be wondering, well, Matt, if you received an email like that, why haven't you read it on the air? Because traditionally, when I get really colorful, aggressive sort of emails, either sent to me or sent to someone else, which then gets forwarded to me complaining about me, I like to present that on the air in the form of a dramatic reading. But the thing is, this particular individual has not only sent me one email, but over the past, I don't know, month and a half, I've received, due to circumstances having nothing to do connected with this show, I have received, I don't know, 50, maybe 75 emails, long, rambling, drunken, mentally unhinged emails from this one individual. And it's not that I'm holding out on you guys. These emails are fantastic. They are incredibly entertaining to read. Especially now that circumstances have changed where this individual can no longer directly affect me in any way. But we're saving them because we're going to do something special with them. Let me put it this way. We have enough emails from this one guy, and they are fascinating, from this one individual to fill a book. We also have enough emails from this individual that we could, if we wanted to, launch a completely separate show on IPMNation.com where we take one email per episode, kind of give you the backstory of what was going on with this particular, on that particular day in terms of our interactions with this person. And I could do a dramatic reading of that specific email and get an entire episode out of that. There's some things that we're thinking about doing with these emails. So it's not that I'm holding out on you all, but I mean, all told, we probably have over 100 emails from this individual. And so we could do 100 episodes of a show if we decide to do that. But like I said, we definitely have enough to fill a book. And it certainly wouldn't be slander or libelous in any way, even if we identify the name of the person who sent us these emails, because they're his own words. And it's crazy stuff to read. And these emails, they're just full of hate and vitriol and narcissism, and it's just nuts. So there's a little teaser for you. I've got some dramatic readings, some on-air dramatic readings of some emails in the near future for you all. And it's going to be a lot of fun, but we got to figure out exactly what we're going to do with this material first. So, and of course, the individual who wrote these emails, he'll probably email me tonight when he's in a drunken stupor and say something like, "Oh, you were talking about me on your show, this and that." And then I can just reply to him and say, "Oh, that's funny. I never mentioned your name. Why would you assume that if I'm talking about a crazy person, I'm talking about you?" But he'll know. Oh, it's wonderful. It's good stuff. It's fun to be able to laugh about it now because, believe me, last week at this time, I wasn't laughing about this, but now I can laugh about it. I mean, this person makes, I thought Little Mel was a sociopath. This guy, oh my God. Oh boy. It's gonna be very interesting when I get to share some of this with you, trust me. All right. So, Brenda Lett, I did not know this until this morning. We'll get to some issues, but I want to make sure I get all the sort of housekeeping and other things out of the way. A couple of weeks ago, I had the honor of going on Brenda Lett's show, Inside Story, and we talked about the Confederate flag and racism and issues like that, and you can find that on YouTube and Vimeo. And I got a text from Mosaic, who is enjoying my little teaser about what's coming down the pike. I didn't realize until this morning, however, when she texted me, Brenda is a published author. So she's written a book. It's co-authored with Lori Lee Roy, and it's called Race Between Us, Racism, a Human Experience. And she desires me to read the book and then participate in a discussion about that. So I will do that, absolutely. And I did tell her I would plug the book on the show. I didn't realize that Brenda was an author as well. So that's very cool. And I did. If you haven't checked it out, feel free to give it a viewing. I really enjoyed my discussion with her, although I did. After our discussion on her show, I did have to clarify one particular thing regarding white male privilege that I didn't feel that I, articulated very well. So, speaking of race, it's been in the news lately. Well, of course, race is always in the news in one form or another. But Hulk Hogan, a childhood hero of mine. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. Very disappointed, of course. Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, now in all kinds of trouble. WWE has completely severed ties with Hogan because of some audio that is leaked out. Well, actually, I haven't actually heard the audio. I don't know if anyone in the media has actually heard the audio, but a transcript is leaked out of the audio of Hogan about 8 years ago, going off on a bit of a racial tirade where he did use the N-word several times, and this was in the course of a sex tape. If you haven't followed this story, I don't want to get into the details. It's all a bit remarkable, but there is a sex tape that was recorded, allegedly without his knowledge, by a gentleman named Bubba the Love Sponge, who is a radio personality from Florida, who is also syndicated, at least regionally, and I believe also is carried on Sirius XM satellite radio. And he, apparently he and Hogan are good friends, or they were good friends, and he allowed Hogan to sleep with his wife, Heather Clem, and apparently it was secretly recorded and this and that. It's all very sordid. But anyway, put that aside. There is audio of Hogan during his conversation, some pillow talk, I guess, with Miss Clem, where Hogan says some horribly racist things and uses the N-word several times, and that has come out, and now Hogan has been disgraced and discredited, and it's terrible. I don't think I've ever revealed this on the air before, but I actually once attended a book signing when Hulk Hogan's autobiography was released some years back, and I asked him to sign my copy of the book, and with the inscription, what he wrote in the book, he actually used the N-word. It was very surprising to me for a variety of reasons. I said Hulkster, why did you do that? Why did you use the N-word in what you wrote in there? And he was just all like, "Don't worry about it right now, dude. We got to keep the line moving, brother." So I was like, okay, and I went about my way. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. By the way, there's a reason I don't do impressions. But in all seriousness, it is weird though when someone I just never would have expected Hulk Hogan to. Apparently, too, now there's audio of him using a homophobic slur as well. The F word. Not that F word, the other F word, the 3-letter F word. So let's move on to some stuff. We talked about this last night on the radio edition of the show, which again is now 5 nights a week on the IPM Nation live station, and of course also every Tuesday and Thursday simulcast on Ohm Times Radio. Pat Robertson, and there's a reason why we're bringing this up again today on the TV show. Oh, actually, we have a call, so we'll hold off on this. Perhaps it's Hulk Hogan. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's on the line?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Norm, how are you, sir? Feeling good?
I'm doing much better. I just
Good.
want to let know your audience and the mine who will be at the stage about how hypnosis really, truly does work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
As you know, I was hypnotized last week on your show.
Yes.
And
Well, on your
I've
show.
been walking a lot more.
Good.
And I've been watching my diet of what I'm eating, so that's a big help.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is I had a little fear of going over a height, and all of a sudden I just took my breath and decided to say I can go over the height, over the water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of heights.
I didn't know that. Well, very common phobia.
I want people to know, if you really and truly want to lose weight and you're terrified of it or you don't think you can do it, give my friend Matt Connarton a call and he will be more than willing to help you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Norm. Thank you for that endorsement. And like I said, I'm just glad I was able to help you. I think that's wonderful. So, and I'm glad you're feeling good.
And actually, he's going to be appearing at a psychic event on September 26th at the Unitarian Universal Church.
Yes. Looking forward to that. I'm glad I forgot to mention that, so I'm glad you brought that up. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks, Norm. All right. Bye-bye. All right. So that was Norm from Norm and Friends. And, yeah, I forgot about that, too. There is an event coming up on September 26th. I used to do a lot of events with Norm when I was his co-host and kind of have gotten away from that. But no, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be very cool. At the I like the Unitarians. Everyone wins with the Unitarians. So, but speaking of religious folks, so Pat Robertson, you know, and we make fun of Pat Robertson a lot on the show because he says crazy things. Pat Robertson says gay marriage will lead to legalizing love affairs between men and animals and pedophilia. And speaking of which, here to defend these things is Paul Cormier.
Not all of them.
Paul, well, this is a surprise.
Hi, Matt.
I didn't know you were coming in because you said you'd message me if you were going to be here.
Sure, right. And I don't have your phone number.
But that is okay. Oh, okay. Well, we're friends on Facebook now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was going to private message you. That's right.
I don't care about this anymore. I want to talk to you. All right, so we'll get to that another time.
Matt Connarton, my former executive producer at Retro Spectrum Radio.
That's right.
Yes.
So when it all blurs together for me, what was that, 2011?
We started Retro Spectrum Radio as a team in 2011, and we went for about, 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
It was you, me, and Lisa at first, Lisa Atkins. And then it was you and I and Kristen Rolla.
Yep. And all those are still archived, of course, on IPM Nation.
Absolutely. Yes.
What is the link? IPMNation.com/
Retro-Spectrum.
Yes.
If you still have them up, that's what the link was.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. They are still there. And in fact, I bring it up once in a while. My favorite episode of that show, by far, was the Led Zeppelin episode.
The Led Zeppelin episode was when we did all the plagiarisms. Yes, that was good.
That was fascinating.
You know, that was a really fun show. Not so much the talking part, but I mean that was fun too when we had our gripes in the talking part.
Yeah.
But Retro Spectrum Radio was pretty much based on we normally would play 2 different bands every week. We would highlight like Van Halen and Journey, you know, and we'd play a whole bunch of songs. But it wasn't the songs you would hear on the radio all the time now. It would pretty much be songs that used to be popular back in the day when they were released.
Right.
And then for some reason the songs went away or whatnot.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun with that. And we would also play like little clips of movies and old commercials from the 70s and 80s.
And a lot of that material, too. Of course, you had your epic feud with Amsterdam.
Yes.
Which was great stuff.
That was the talk show portion of it primarily, which was never really intended. But, yeah, Amsterdam, a fine program right here on this network, which I'm now, 5 years later, a segment producer for that television show.
Yes.
Yeah, the Peter
Was that your secret plan all along?
I intended to take over that show, and the wheels are in motion. No, about a year ago or so, actually, it's been about 11 months, Peter White approached me. You might be interested in this because I don't know if you ever knew how it ever came to fruition when we finally...
I've heard his version of the story because he came on and talked about it.
Yeah.
But let's hear your
It was through Magapalooza. A mutual friend of ours, Stefan Philbrook, his daughter had passed away at age 13 from cancer.
Yeah.
And Stefan approached me and asked if I could produce a video for his daughter. His daughter was a fan of my videos, and I don't think I ever met Stefan before, but Stefan insists that we had met a few years ago, but I had never really met him. He was one of those folks, as far as I knew, that I was just a mutual friend on Facebook of mine through other friends.
Yeah.
And he knew that I produced videos. I make a bunch of Manchester videos, and I also produce videos personally for people.
Sure.
A lot of times I'll do funeral videos, or I'll archive photos for people onto a DVD and accompany it with music that the person who passed away or the family liked, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But Stefan approached me and said that his daughter was dying, and she wanted to make a video of her life before.
This is Maggie?
Maggie, yes. Maggie wanted to make a video, and she wanted me to make the video with her.
Okay.
And Stefan called me and said that, you know, she's not doing so well. We need to make this video quickly.
Wow.
We want to include all the videos and photos of her that she has gathered on her iPad because she's taken a lot through her journey through this illness.
Yeah.
And she wants you to interview her and talk to her in her hospital bed. And I thought, absolutely. We'll talk about her favorite songs, and what I'll do is we'll talk and discuss the things that she likes, and I'll bring that home and I'll edit the video clips of her favorite movies while we're talking about them, and that'll be a big portion of the video.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from that into like a medley of her favorite music accompanied by pictures. Her family, Maura and Stefan, took a lot of photos of her growing up. So,
yeah. Oh,
you know,
that's good.
So, you know, it would be that kind of video.
Yeah.
So we made a date for me to go see her at the hospital, and it was going to be noontime on that particular day, and she actually passed away at 5 o'clock that morning.
Oh, wow.
So I never got to interview her, obviously.
Yeah.
The video was still made. It ended up being 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I intentionally made the video to give a feel that it was unfinished. I did add video clips that her dad told me were her favorite movies, and I used music in this video that were her favorite songs. She loved the Police.
Yeah.
She loved all the Police albums except for Synchronicity, because
really?
she thought that was too poppy and commercialized.
Oh, okay.
And this is a 13-year-old
Yeah.
kid in the 21st century. I love that.
Yeah,
And just so you know, the Police's last album came out in 1982, kids.
Yeah,
So, you know. And that was too commercialized and poppy for a 13-year-old kid of today.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to have met Maggie.
Yeah.
Just based on the videos and stuff that working with Stefan and Maura to make the video. It was almost like I knew Maggie.
Yeah.
And then a year, to celebrate her year anniversary a few months back in February, I had access to her iPad, which had a whole bunch of videos that she put together that I made another video of in honor of her anniversary. So
Yeah.
that got a good response as well, too. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, little bit of a digression there. But that's how Peter White with Amsterdam and I met. Stefan and his family have this annual concert to raise money for cancer awareness, and it's called Magapalooza, and Stefan had asked both Peter and I to be part of it.
Yeah.
And in order for Peter and I to both be part of it, we had to work together.
Right.
And we hadn't spoken to each other, and we never really made amends with this radio TV feud from a few years earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just stopped doing my radio show, and he continued doing his TV show. But, you know, it's also important to remember that the person I had a feud with is no longer part of that television show.
Right. It was really, the conflict really was with Ryan Gorman.
Right.
Initially.
And it had nothing to do with his show.
Right.
It was something between Ryan and I that had everything to do with my show.
Yeah.
Because Ryan had suggested something out of the clear blue, offering his help with my new radio show, which incidentally, after 2 episodes, already hit #1 on IPM Nation.
That is true.
Didn't need any help with it, but okay. It's all right. He wanted to help with this show I'd never heard of before, but after he told me about what it was, I tuned in and I watched it, and I thought it was very cool. And if these guys want to help me, fine. So he suggested doing something that I thought would be very cool for my radio show.
Yeah.
And then there was really never any follow-up with it, and it frustrated me.
There was kind of from what I remember, there was lapse in communication. He didn't return a call or something.
Right.
Yeah.
There was, I'll get back to you, and it never really happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just, and I was a jerk. I handled it completely inappropriately because, whatever, that's just my personality. And, my
You're
radio
an intense
show.
guy.
Listen, my radio show was my baby, and this idea was great. Ryan had a great idea, and I wanted to get it on the air.
Yeah.
That's it, bottom line.
Yeah.
And when it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening, I started getting frustrated.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, this would be great to fill in all that space every week on my radio show.
Yeah.
That is, I'm missing out on this beautiful thing, that his idea.
Right.
Venting about it. Venting that it's not happening, I'm going to do it on the air.
Yeah.
And sure enough, within 15 minutes of venting on the first night, Ryan had called in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And
that got nasty.
And it became a feud.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Naturally, Ryan's got his forum, Amsterdam. So he got on his show, and he started bad-mouthing me and my radio show. So, and rightly so. I mean, where else is he going to do it?
Right, right.
His family's not going to listen to this jerk of retrospect. So naturally, he's going to get on the air and do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would have too.
Yeah, right.
And that is what made Amsterdam and Retro Spectrum Radio become rivals because,
Yeah.
you know, Ryan got on there, and of course Peter and everybody else are going to back up Ryan because that's his crew.
Yeah.
And that's what made Amsterdam and Retro Spectrum become these enemies or whatever. But it was all in good fun. I mean, they filled up a lot of airtime that with this stuff, and I did too.
And I loved it because
of course you did. I watched you every week loving it in my studio.
Everyone, because ultimately everyone benefited.
Yeah.
Because it creates all this buzz, you know,
Yeah.
controversy, creates all this buzz. The only thing, I loved it, but it was a little awkward for me in one sense, only because I was there as part of your show.
Sure, right.
So I had to kind of find ways to just kind of remind everybody that I, as the owner of IPM Nation, I was neutral.
Sure.
You know, I was Switzerland and all this.
Right. And when you were and for those who didn't listen to the show or whatever, Matt sat in the studio with me. I wasn't on TV. I was just on IPM Nation on the radio. And Amsterdam, although it was a TV show, also got piped in as audio and was a radio show as well in that sense.
Right.
So we were rivals on IPM Nation, Amsterdam and I. And Matt is right. He couldn't take sides because of that. But aside, you know, versus Amsterdam, Matt was my executive producer and also one of the guys that sat, like kind of like the Howard Stern show. You sat in my studio like you were Fred Norris,
right,
sitting there with me, talking back with me so I could talk to somebody. You were my audience in the studio. I used that as a tool.
Yeah, yeah.
And every time I tried to get some kind of agreement out of you about, oh man, these guys suck. Look what they did again, Matt. Can you believe it?
Right.
And I couldn't get that out of you. So what I would try to do is make you laugh by calling them like Manchester dumb or Manchester douche or you know, or just insulting them to try to get you to at least laugh.
Right, right.
Which I was successful doing that part.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I had to be careful, you know, obviously for business reasons and for personal reasons. Because, you know,
well, you were in love with Peter White. I remember back then. That's what made you and I feud. You had a love affair with him. Let's bring it out on the table right now.
Well, you know, I don't.
No, actually, in all seriousness, so the feud continued with Amsterdam and I, and never really cleared up.
Yeah.
But eventually, down the road, you and I started feuding, which was clear to me at this point that I was a relentless a-hole with everybody in life, and I apologize publicly now to Matt, but. There was a point where Matt was constantly on Facebook promoting Amsterdam, promoting, and you were never promoting Retro Spectrum Radio. And when I confronted you about that, you said to me, Paul, your show's #1. You don't need to be promoted.
Right, right.
And I was like, wow, who is the a-hole here? Am I the a-hole here? What kind of thinking is that? But then it just went on and on and on. And I remember the straw that broke the camel's back, Peter White, was the day that he got on Facebook and, like a loyal girlfriend, got on there and wished you the sweetest happy birthday. I swear to God, I thought he was going to propose to you on a social network. So, and I private messaged you and I said, why don't you just, are you going to propose to him today? And that was that. You were like, dude, I am so livid right now. I'm like, fine. I don't know if you said your show's over or if I said my show's over, but that day, the show was over.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't, by the way, and I didn't handle that well myself. Like, if that were to happen today, I would have handled it much better.
Well, first of all, I think the thing that we should do next time, or if that would have happened, I think what we should have done was gotten on the phone and verbally spoke.
Yeah.
I think the thing that kills a lot of relationships these days with people is texting and email.
Oh, yeah.
And getting your point across with this technology here versus just getting on the phone. And trying to verbalize and enunciate and have some kind of intellectual conversation.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that ended Retro Spectrum Radio. But we still had one more episode. That night, the day we had that fight, was the night of my next show.
Yeah, yeah.
So we decided after cooling off, maybe an hour later, I think I messaged you again saying, "Can we still do the show tonight? I have it done. I worked on it all friggin' week."
Right.
But I don't want to go on the air. I'll give you your show so you can have the time filled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was the Stone Temple Pilots and Collective Soul. Those were the two bands that night.
Okay.
And it was just all the music.
Yeah, yeah.
There was no DJing. There was just movie clips and music that night.
Right.
And that was the last episode. There was, I think, 36 episodes.
Sounds about right, yeah. And then there was Ryan Gorman had come up with a show called Time Machine.
Oh, really?
Do you remember
I
that?
don't know that. I didn't know that.
He only did 2 episodes, but we started running that in that time slot, but he didn't stick with it. But
yeah, no. What was that all about?
It was kind of a similar, because part of it was kind of poke fun at you, so it was kind of a similar idea.
Oh,
we
really?
Go back in time, like pick a year and play the audio from this year, and he only did a couple episodes and didn't stick with it. So.
Ryan and I have made up.
Good.
Big time.
That's good.
We actually made up at the first annual Magapalooza. He showed up there as a guest. We had actually made up before that via text and cell phone communication, I think. I sent him an email one day.
Yeah.
But we saw each other in person at Magapalooza 2014, and you know, he's. I wish he was doing a little bit better than when I saw him a year ago. I think he is now. I'm not sure, but
he's an intense guy too.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys are both intense.
Yeah, well, I think I've mellowed out a little bit more than I was a little bit more intense 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I've been sober now for over 5 years.
Good for
and
you.
Back then, I had gotten sober. I'd been, when I did the radio show, I was less than a year sober when we first started the radio show, and celebrated a year of sobriety, like maybe in our 3rd or 4th week of our show.
Yeah.
And you know, it was still new to me, even though being sober for a year is a long time.
You used to talk about it on the air.
Yeah. But you know, 5.5 years now, I'm helping others to achieve that and everything.
You did receive a compliment, by the way. From Mosaic. She says, "Wow, what an awesome guy." I think referring to the Magapalooza video. And
thank you, Mosaic.
And
Mosaic, are you single and hot? Just kidding.
She's not single.
Just kidding. Okay, thank you, Mosaic. That was very nice. I'm glad you like my stuff.
She's I don't know if she wants me to reveal on the air who she actually is.
Do I know Mosaic?
I'm still, because Mosaic isn't her real name. I'm still getting used to all this. No, but she's part of IPM Nation.
Cool.
But you haven't met her. But perhaps you will at some point.
Speaking of part of IPM Nation, thank you, Mosaic. Also, Mosaic and everybody else, Retro Spectrum on the internet is still alive and well, even though the radio show doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
YouTube.com/PaulC4567. I've got 5 million followers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
5 million.
That's awesome.
Well, when I say 5 million followers, that's different from subscribers. I've got about 2,600 subscribers.
Yeah.
When I say 5 million followers, that's how many views I've gotten on my work.
Well, that's still, that's impressive, though. That is.
Yeah, gotten a little over 5 million views. And you want to go to youtube.com/PaulC4567. And if you're from New Hampshire, you just scroll down that page a little bit and click on the New Hampshire videos. And you can see my Manchester video series, all 10 parts of the history of Manchester.
Oh.
Put to really awesome music.
Yeah.
That's got a really good following, too, here in Manchester.
That's very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And my celebrity deaths videos are awesome, too.
Now,
I've been doing those for 5 years.
I've always been curious about this. I don't know if I've ever asked you. Making those, is that depressing?
Which one? The celebrity deaths one?
Yeah.
Not typically, but this past one was.
Yeah?
Because people that I really loved growing up as a kid died. You know, Andy Davis, Robin Williams, the professor from Gilligan's Island, and so many more passed away this year. But also this year, what I did on my celebrity deaths video versus the several other ones that I've made in the past, the several other videos I've made in the past, what I would do is I would just put the name of the person and what they did, like
Mosaic's my girlfriend, by the way. She said to go ahead and reveal that.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen pictures of your girlfriend.
Because she has this whole dual identity thing going. So that's why I'm never.
That's how
sure.
That's how you know she's not single. She's your girlfriend.
Right.
Why didn't you just say that in the first place?
Because I referred to her as Mosaic.
And do you?
And she's not
never mind.
really Mosaic. That's this alternate radio identity that she's created.
I see. Does she have her own show on IPN?
She does. It's called Liberty Walk, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
She's also my co-host on Matt Connarton Unleashed.
The late night version?
Yes.
After hours?
But on Unleashed, she's Mosaic. Oh, we have a call? I didn't even hear the phone ring.
I didn't hear it ring either.
All right. Hey, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's on the line? Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
It's Mosaic.
Hey there.
Hi, Mosaic.
I will self-reveal myself. I'm Jen Coffey. But Mosaic is my survivor name. I'm a cancer survivor. And when you were talking about what you do with Magapalooza and how you guys keep doing that, you know, it hit home, and I really appreciate that, and I think you're a great guy. And keep telling stories about Matt, because I'm really enjoying them.
Okay, well, I can tell a great one, but it's probably better for the late night show, the
yes.
Unleashed. The things
Sounds like a plan.
and you know, I actually need you here on the phone or you're actually here in the studio, right? You guys got to have me as a guest. Because I would like to interview Matt with a certain topic in particular that I'm sure Matt, because there was something I
want to hear more about this love affair thing you were talking about.
Well, you know, there are certain episodes of Retrospectrum Radio that I'm sure Matt could, well, maybe not, but there are episodes of my radio show that maybe Matt could discuss with you that we've talked about in the past.
Yes.
Not necessarily play directly, but you guys should have me on, and we could talk about it on the show. As far as me interviewing Matt about some things, because Matt, you want to see Matt blush?
Another teaser from Matt Connarton Unleashed.
Yes.
All right, guys, keep up the fun and keep sharing. I'm enjoying it.
Thanks, Mosaic. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, she sounds really cute, man.
Yes, yes. So when she does Liberty Walk, she is Jen Coffey.
So what is
But on my
Liberty
show,
Walk?
she
What is that? That
Mosaic.
sounds political.
Yeah, yeah. We have most of our shows are well, some of them are music, but most of them are political.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So getting back to the celebrity deaths thing,
Yeah.
just to finish answering that question, this year it was a little bit more emotional for me because, as I was saying, just because of the people who died, but also with past ones, I would put the celebrity's name and what they did, like Joe
Right.
Blow, actor. This year I would put like little personal blurbs about a factoid about the person, and it was a little bit more on the emotional side, and it also took me endless hours to make this video. So if you're on that website, and you please check out Celebrity
Yeah.
Deaths 2015.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cool video, and Maggie is actually in that video too.
Oh, okay.
I asked permission from Maggie's parents if I could put Maggie, dedicate the Celebrity Deaths video 2015 to Maggie.
Yeah.
And they said, absolutely.
Oh,
And I
that's
said,
cool.
can I put footage of her in it? So at the very end, after Robin Williams, Maggie's in it.
Oh,
and
wow.
then there's information to get to her website to find out more about Maggie and the kind of cancer she died from and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. So what does the future hold for you? I know you're pretty busy these days. You gonna?
I'm busy right now doing a full-time job, but I still am DJing. I do reunions for Central High School. I'm running actually on Facebook. I'm the head administrator for the Central High School Manchester page.
Yeah.
And that has landed me many, many gigs for Central High School.
Yeah.
My next gig for Central is the Class of 65 reunion, their 50th. Really funny thing about that, Bob Schiavone, he used to be a guidance counselor and at one point the principal for Central High School. He is part of the Class of 65, and he contacted me recently asking me if I could make a reunion video for his high school reunion that would be shown at the reunion.
Yeah.
I've made several of those for other classes as part of my work.
Yeah.
So I was like, absolutely, I'll do that. I've made several in the past. Sure. So he told me that somebody would be in contact with me from the class.
Yeah.
Somebody did get in contact with me. And this time around, it's kind of funny. Rather than me sitting there and getting a whole bunch of Class of 1965 photos together and making a video, they're going to take all 10 of my Manchester videos, my Manchester video series,
Yeah.
and just show those on a loop at their reunion all night.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And I asked them, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" They were like, "Yeah." Those videos, they said, have the memories that their class would remember the most. Just those places in Manchester.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, well, you just saved me about 50,000 hours of work."
Right.
So. Yeah.
So, were you ever a student of? Well, I have this weird mental block with his name. He's basically the third Mike on Mansterdam, the teacher.
Tibbetts.
Yeah, I don't know why I can never remember his name. Were you ever his student?
Well, he was a teacher at Central, but he was a gym teacher, and I went to Trinity High School for 2 years before I went to Central.
Oh, okay.
And I already got that stuff out of the way. So when I
Yeah.
got to Central, I didn't need to take gym.
Oh, okay.
But Tibbetts educated me in other things
Yeah.
when we weren't in school.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But he was never a teacher of mine. I mean, we partied a lot.
No kidding, yeah.
But we didn't. And when I say party, I mean we like went to the back room and had ice cream a lot. You know what I mean? We just hung out.
Right, right.
That's it. We cruised down.
Oh,
we didn't do
yes.
anything illegal. There was no underage drinking. There was no smoking of anything but cigarettes. Honestly,
Yes.
honestly.
Well, you have a very honest face, Paul Cormier.
Thank you.
I
Thank
believe you. You should run for office.
Thank you.
Joel's running for office. Have you thought about
dude,
running for
I
office?
belong to the dance party. So
Well,
until
then,
there is
I'll
a
vote for that.
political party that includes nothing but music and fun, then I'm not running for anything. I don't follow politics. I think politics are ridiculous and stupid, pathetic, sad waste of time, and I think that you should talk about other things other than politics.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes, please
Let me
do.
get your opinion on
Please
this.
do.
Because this is more sort of political. But
What do I think of Trump? He's a douchebag. Go ahead. What?
No, this is what I was going to talk about before you showed up. And
Yeah.
I want to get your opinion. So Pat Robertson, of course, claims that now that gay marriage is legal, it's going to...
The next thing you know, we're going to have sex with animals or something.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, it's going to lead to that and to pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
Then this morning, Mosaic pointed out to me, there was an article in the Keene Sentinel, apparently at the Cheshire County Fair this year, they're not allowing people to sleep in the barns with the barn animals. Because apparently they used to allow people to sleep to save money, sleep in the barn with the livestock that they're presenting at the fair.
Okay.
And what I'm wondering is, I wonder if that's a reaction to what Pat Robertson said, because now...
Oh, so they're not giving any reason for that? They're just saying that you can't sleep like that anymore?
I didn't really read the article yet, but I'm wondering if there's an underlying cause here. I think the fire marshal says it's a hazard or something, but I'm wondering if the real reason is there's a concern that Pat Robertson is right, and these people are going to be having sex with their livestock in the barn at the Cheshire Fair, which really, if that is in fact the case, I would object to that as well. I mean, that's just awful.
Well, I mean, I think I would base it pretty much on has there been sex with livestock in the past at these places that they're now forbidding it from happening?
Well, I hope not.
I mean, has there been any moaning coming from these barns that they just want to put to an end?
You know, some of those cows when they moo, I mean, that kind of sounds a little like...
Well, those
something would
goats.
be something
Sometimes
else.
those
Yeah.
goats are
Yeah.
really freaky sounding.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I've heard. I wouldn't know, but I've heard that, yes.
Yes, yeah, right.
But, so I don't know. I wonder if there's a connection there. And of course, if that is going on, eventually they're going to bring in baby goats, into that. And then you do have pedophilia with bestiality, pedophilia altogether.
Well, I think
that's what gay marriage leads to.
Until they start seeing livestock like smoking cigarettes, I don't think that they have anything really to concern themselves with if people are sleeping in the barns with livestock. I don't think that that has anything to do with Pat Robertson. I think that that's probably just some kind of ridiculous, politically correct safety issue that people have some kind of concern with. I don't think that that's a Pat. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that has anything to do with Pat Robertson's claims that pedophilia and animal sex are next to be legalized?
Well, I mean, it is.
I mean, are you looking forward to that happening, the animal sex?
I'm not personally.
I mean, I know
looking
you're not
forward
into
to it,
kids, but
right.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I like cats, but I don't feel any desire to,
there's never ever been like a dog you were like, wow. Like walking down the street, you were like,
I mean,
ever?
I'm not going to say it's never occurred to me,
Okay.
but I wouldn't act on it. I mean, that's just wrong. That's sick.
Okay, but there are people
think
out there
about
that
it is,
probably would.
Right, true.
And Pat Robertson doesn't want that to come to fruition.
I mean, there's a collie that I've seen on Beach Street that
Yeah.
really is kind of,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Little cute, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you think about it, right? I mean, that's normal.
Well, you
right?
do.
I mean, I assume we all do, right? I said it out loud.
Well,
that's
there are those
which I
who,
think is a sign of courage on my part.
there are those who act upon it.
Right.
And Mr. Robinson, God bless him, wants to do the Lord's work.
Robertson. I'm sure.
What did I say?
Robinson. I'm sure there's a gentleman named Robinson.
Show you how into politics.
Who's
now.
also of great faith.
Now, isn't he on the Club 400 or something?
Oh, the 700 Club, yeah. He's like 90 or something. Yeah, he's a little old. And yet, this same guy who says all kinds of crazy things, I make fun of him a lot on the show, and yet he does not believe in creationism. He's an evolutionist.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's kind of an anomaly there. You would assume that he believed that the Lord really did create the earth in 6 days, but he does not.
He does not believe that, but he believes in everything
But he
else.
believes all this other crazy stuff, yeah.
Wow. So he believes like in the Noah story.
Oh, sure, yeah. Got to take
Adam
that
and
Bible
Eve.
literally. Oh, yeah.
So he believes in Adam
Well, I
and
don't know if
Eve?
he believes in Adam and Eve. No, because if he is an evolutionist, then no, I guess he would not believe in Adam and Eve.
So his beliefs start like on chapter 6 of the Bible? Or?
I'd be curious. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I was raised Catholic, and we were taught not to take the Old Testament literally, that those are parables, those are stories.
Does he believe in dinosaurs?
Oh, that's a good question.
As part of evolution? Or?
That's a good question. I would think he would. But you can believe in dinosaurs and still be a creationist. You just believe that that the fossils were put there by Satan to confuse us. That's what a lot of these people
Let's get
think.
back to Pat Robertson for a second. In all honesty.
Yes.
He's what, in his 90s, right?
He's an old guy.
Okay.
Maybe in his 80s.
All right.
But
Now, do you really think in your heart of hearts that he thinks that these things are next to become legal? Or do you think that he just pretty much said that because people just say things because they're angry and frustrated and they just say stuff?
it's hard to know. I don't know. But he's also very old, and when people get old, I was talking about this recently on the show. I didn't know this until a few years ago, but you know how, like, you ever have like the crazy uncle who says crazy stuff in public, and everybody just kind of goes, "Oh, he's old. That's
Yeah.
why he said he's old, and he just doesn't
Yeah,
care anymore."
yeah.
But apparently, there's actually something in the brain that sort of that filter that we all have. Some of us more than others, but we all have that filter. Okay, what's okay to say and what is not, and that part of the brain, at a certain age in some people, begins to deteriorate to the point where they will, and it's not that they have dementia necessarily or anything like that, but that particular thing, so that they will then say things in public that maybe when they were a few years younger they wouldn't have said, because that filter
Sure.
is slowly deteriorating.
Yeah. It's kind of like
So it
losing
could be
your
that.
inhibitions after you've had a couple of martinis.
Right.
There's some kind of inhibition loss there where you don't care. You know
Right.
what? I don't think Pat Robertson cares anymore
Yeah.
what he says. He doesn't
Right.
care.
Right.
You know, and he said that. I think he said that I don't think in his heart of hearts he thinks that stuff's going to be legal.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I heard it in an interview or a discussion the other day. It was on Howard Stern. Robin and Howard were discussing it. And Robin brought up a valid point where she said, excuse me, gay marriage, you're talking about two consenting adults who have decided that they've made choices in life and they want to get married. They have the right to do so now, and they can do that.
Right.
In polygamy, that's another thing that, that I think questionably shouldn't be illegal.
I agree.
Because, these are grown-ups.
Right.
If a grown-up wants to marry 8 women and 8 grown-up women want to say, okay, I'll be part of that, why is that my business?
Right.
Why am I not over there minding my own friggin' business?
Exactly.
And letting this idiot marry 8 idiots?
Exactly.
How is that going to concern me?
Right.
How is this going to ruin my day?
Right.
That my chances now are 8 times harder that I have
Well,
to go
there is
out
that.
and find a girlfriend.
There is that.
Right.
The statistics. You can't get away from the numbers, but
But when
other
it
than
comes
that-
to bestiality, okay,
Yes.
or pedophilia,
Yeah.
you're dealing with 2 classes here that don't have this decision making.
right, they can't consent.
Right, they're
Yeah.
not consenting.
Right. Right.
So that is why Mr. Robertson and whoever else agrees with this lame thinking,
Yeah.
that's why those two things would never come to fruition.
Right.
It's
exactly.
common sense.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with legalities
Right.
and legislation and human rights.
Yeah. Yeah, because you hear that all the time, like Rick Santorum when he made the man on dog argument. Well, what if somebody wants to marry a dog? And it's like, well, a dog can't walk down the aisle and say,
Sure.
I do.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure somewhere on YouTube there's a video of an adorable kitten who, when it meows, it sounds like it's saying I do. But I think
No, you can't. Now, let me ask you this, and I hope I use non-offensive terms, but
Okay.
as a non-mentally challenged person, I wouldn't be able to marry a severely mentally challenged person, right? If they weren't of sound mind, I wouldn't be able to marry a severely retarded person, would I? And if retarded is wrong, I'm sorry, I don't know what the correct...
Actually, a lot of people don't know this, but legally, that is the correct term.
Retarded
that's
is
the term
yeah.
lawyers use, even though it's considered politically incorrect.
But I'm talking
But
severely.
You've raised an interesting question there.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question. I've never thought about that. And I've never heard anyone ask that question either. That's interesting. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Well, I've heard in the news of people getting convicted for having sex with severely retarded people who somehow have managed to, in a court of law, consent that they said it was okay, but lawyers say that they can't trust that person's consent because they are severely retarded.
Right.
So if you can't, so that person ended up going to jail for having sex with
That's
a severely
interesting.
retarded person.
Yeah.
So whether or not the severely retarded person even says that, okay, you can marry me, can you still marry this severely retarded person?
It's a very good question.
And if not, then you know what? Then the consent thing, again, getting back to this Pat Robertson, I don't
Right.
think he has anything to worry about with animals and children.
By the way, the one thing I would correct you on, we are in New Hampshire, so I believe the correct pronunciation is retarded.
Retarded?
Wicked retarded.
Wicked retarded people.
Now that you raised that question, though, and that's interesting, I wonder if it would be the same scenario as if you're marrying someone who's underage, you have to get the consent of the parents. So maybe if it's a mentally challenged individual, you have to get the consent of whoever is in charge of that person.
Probably.
Maybe.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, as a dog owner and somebody wants to marry my dog,
Right.
are they going to ask me permission? And am I going to give it to them?
Well, now, okay, here's a scenario. What if the person who wants to marry your dog is very wealthy? Let's say Donald Trump wants to marry your dog. Wouldn't you be a fool to say no to that? You have an opportunity to marry your dog off into a wealthy family?
Listen,
Because when Trump dies, you're going to get some of that
first
money.
of all, I think I would let anybody marry my dog just to make the newspapers.
Sure.
But if Donald Trump wanted to marry my dog, I would definitely let him do it.
Yeah.
I would definitely let him marry into my family.
Yes, yes.
But I don't think that's right. I want to see my dog happy, and I don't
Yes.
think Donald would...
But what if your dog is in love with Trump?
How would I know? That is the thing. How would I know if my dog loves Trump?
You know,
By the amount of humping of the leg?
your dog's heart wants what your dog's heart wants.
But I don't know what my dog's heart wants.
I read that once in a Hallmark card.
Yeah?
I did. It's Hallmark card for pets.
Dog section? Yeah.
Yes, yes. I don't know why I was there. I don't have a dog.
So when are we going to do Retro Spectrum Radio? A very special
We should,
episode.
especially now that we have the IPM Nation
Yes.
live station. We have this whole new
And not
great
just
platform.
that, maybe, I just, about 4 months ago, I got the okay to have a television show here.
Oh, really?
God bless John Eric O'Neill, who's been putting up with me blowing it off month after month after month.
Yeah?
Because of work.
Oh, okay.
But to maybe do an in-studio one would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because we have screens here, and
Yeah.
for months I've been trying to think of ways to incorporate Retro Spectrum Radio into a television show. Because copyrights are a lot easier to come by with public access television.
Yeah.
In Retro Spectrum Radio, we probably show a lot of movie clips,
Right.
and old television commercial clips.
Yeah.
Infused into whatever it is else we'd have in mind.
Right. Right.
But Yeah, I want to do at least one reunited episode.
Absolutely.
Get Kristen and Lisa, which I can probably take care of
I'm all
doing
for
that.
it, yeah.
That guy, Gorsuch, who I always used to call.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, he's
What was his first name? Was it Adam?
Andrew.
Adam? Oh, Andrew.
Andrew Gorsuch.
Whatever happened with him?
He's an extra in movies right now.
No kidding.
He's doing a lot of traveling throughout New York, working in movies and television shows for HBO.
Yeah.
And he still stays in constant contact with me,
Yeah.
annoying the hell out of me, calling me at 3 in the morning. I love him. He's a
Does
great
he
guy.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've got voicemail on
Does
here
he
that
not
I
realize
don't...
the show's not currently...
Oh, yeah, he knows. He knows.
Call
Listen,
him.
I suffered a heart attack in 2012.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I had a heart attack in 2012.
Oh, wow.
And Andrew was there for me.
Wow,
It was
no
shocking.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, one night I was at home watching television. It was December 19th, 2012.
Yeah.
My roommate came home and asked if I could help him move a dryer down into the cellar.
Yeah.
And I helped him move it downstairs. I went back upstairs to my bedroom. About half an hour later, I started feeling like I had heartburn.
Yeah.
Really intense heartburn.
Yeah.
Felt like I had to burp.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. And it went away about 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
And then about 2 minutes after that, it came back.
Yeah.
And it was very, very intense. And I felt like if I wasn't going to expel gas in any way, I felt like I was going to explode. It was very, very frightening.
God.
And I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So about 3 minutes passes and it went away again.
Yeah.
And then it came back a third time. And this time it was paralyzing, where I had to throw myself on the floor, and I crawled with my elbows to the staircase so I could throw myself down the stairs so my roommate could hear me. Wow. And she came storming out, my other roommate. She came storming out of her bedroom and saw me on the floor, and I just told her to call an ambulance.
Yeah.
And they came, and then that's when they told me that I was in cardiac arrest. Wow. And got rushed to the hospital, had emergency surgery to unblock a couple of arteries. And yeah, there were a couple of people that had called me while I was on the operating table, because my roommate knew that my roommate got right on Facebook and said Paul's having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And there were like 3 or 4 people in particular that called me while I was actually having surgery, and Andrew was one of them.
Wow, no kidding.
So Andrew's a close friend now.
Yeah, but you made a full recovery, right?
Made a full recovery.
Good for you.
You know, while I was having the heart attack, I remember being in triage telling the nurses that I had a Christmas party that I had to DJ in 3 days, and I had to be out of here in 3 days.
Yeah.
And they kept on telling me that if I didn't calm down and shut the F up, that I was going to be dead in 3 days.
Right, yeah.
So, but I managed to get out of there in 3 days.
Wow.
And I DJ'd a huge Christmas party to probably 200 of the most wonderful people ever in my life. The welcome there was insane.
Yeah.
When I think about it now, I could start bawling my eyes out right now at the welcome that I got from these people.
Wow.
Who were just very, very happy to see that I survived it.
Yeah.
And then for about 6 months, I suffered this horrific guilt about surviving it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because after my surgery was done, my doctor came in and he said 2 things to me that stuck with me. He said, "Mr. Cormier, you're very, very lucky to be alive." And then he said to me, "I have seen people older than you or younger than you with less intense heart attacks die."
Yeah.
And he said that to me. And
wow.
And I remember looking at him and asking him, "Well, why did I survive?" And he said, "Because it's a miracle. That's it."
Wow.
And, you know, it took a long time to accept that.
Yeah.
And it's very, very hard to explain. It's some kind of survivor's guilt or whatnot. And when I've discussed it with people who haven't experienced that before, I've been told that I'm insane, I'm out of my mind, I feel sorry for myself, whatever. But I'm over it now.
Yeah.
I don't have that survivor's guilt that I had, but it was awful. It was awful
so
having
in your family hard because you...
Oh, yeah, my father, yeah.
Because you're young for
I
a
have
heart attack.
both my grandfathers died in their 40s from heart attacks.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you are fortunate.
Yeah. I survived it. Yeah.
Good for you, Paul. Well, I'm glad you're
Yeah,
here.
I've
Jeez,
lost
I had no idea.
Yeah, I lost about 20 pounds since
Yeah.
it's happened, and
Yeah.
life is going great. You know.
Good.
So,
Good. Yeah, you seem a lot happier.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. Well, we're out of time, but I'm really glad you came in today.
I'm glad I remembered.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I
me too.
remembered the invite at Walmart the other day when
Yes,
you and I
ran into
were
you at
shopping.
Walmart. Yeah. So thank you, and yeah, we'll talk off air about what we talked
Absolutely.
about. Definitely. And of course, this will be up and available on demand on IPM Nation on the on YouTube and Vimeo later tonight. And don't forget, of course, we are live 5 nights a week now on the IPM Nation live station with the radio edition of Unleashed. And that's it for now. Paul, thank you again. And
Thanks, Matt.
Talk at you all a little later. Thanks, everybody.
That was great.
All right.
No, I thought you knew. I thought I told you, but then again, I guess I didn't.